Happy day to all. This is Nivedita, founder of Sri Ahana Physiotherapy Academy, and our today's topic will be active insufficiency and passive insufficiency. Active insufficiency is nothing but the reduced ability of a multi-joint muscle to contract effectively at all the joints it passes through. So what happens is, when it consecutively passes through many joints, its ability to contract will diminish. So the range of motion in the consecutive joints will be affected. So the same thing, what happens with passive insufficiency is the reduced ability of the multi-joint muscles to lengthen at more than one joint. So when the muscle crosses multiple joints, it will not be able to effectively lengthen at all the joints it crosses through. So this will again interrupt the range of motion in the agonist muscle. Whichever movement we are trying, this passive insufficiency, it will passively restrict the agonist muscle contraction. So this is called as passive insufficiency. Now I'll give you few examples to make passive insufficiency and active insufficiency easy to understand. Just place your arm on the table and put your wrist into flexion. What happens? Your fingers tend to extend. This is because the extensor muscle, it gets lengthened over the flexed wrist. And in the consecutive joints it passes through, the metacarpophalangeal joint and the interphalangeal joints, it cannot lengthen again effectively. So what happens? It will start contracting here. So when it contracts, it produces its movement of finger extension. Okay? So it is going to prevent the finger from flexing by staying extended. So this is an example of passive insufficiency of the extensors of the wrist and fingers. What happens to this side? The flexors will undergo active insufficiency. Why? Because it will effectively contract at the wrist. The muscle action of flexor is to produce wrist flexion and finger flexion. Why is it producing wrist flexion and not finger flexion here is, it is already contracted maximum at the wrist joint. So when it passes through the metacarpophalangeal and interphalangeal joints, it cannot flex effectively. It will remain lengthened. So this is why finger flexion is not possible with active insufficiency here. Passing into the second example of wrist extension, just place the arm on the table and try to extend your wrist. See what happens. What happens is, automatically the fingers will move into flexion. This is because the wrist flexors, they are lengthened on the wrist, and again it cannot lengthen over here. So what happens? The muscle automatically contracts. So it contracts to produce finger flexion. So this is the passive insufficiency of the wrist flexors and finger flexors. What happens to this part, to the extensor part here? Here it actively undergoes insufficiency. The extensor muscle contracts here to effectively put the wrist into extension. So at the consecutive joints, the next joints it passes through, it cannot effectively contract. It becomes lengthened and it allows flexion here. When it contracts, it will not allow flexion. When it lengthens, it can allow flexion of the fingers. So this is what is active insufficiency of the extensors here. Now moving into the classical example of flexing your wrist and making a fist. You can try it to understand both active and passive insufficiency simultaneously. What happens here is, you can never make a tight fist with your wrist flexed. This is because the extensor muscle will undergo passive insufficiency here. See, it will get lengthened over the wrist and again it cannot lengthen over these joints. Okay? But the fingers have to flex here to make a fist. So it will keep finger flexors pulled towards itself, I mean the extensor side. So what happens? The fingers cannot go into complete range of motion. Here the wrist flexors and the finger flexors, they contract here at the wrist maximally. So in these joints to come, in the next joints to come, it cannot contract more effectively. The extensor cannot lengthen more effectively and the flexors cannot contract more effectively. So both these muscles together, they put it in a state of loose fist. This is because of passive insufficiency of the extensors and active insufficiency of the flexors. A common example that we see during safety tips that are provided in television channels is somebody coming to attack you with a knife. What you do, you just flex the wrist and the knife falls down. The knife falls down because the grip loosens here. A common day-to-day example of why a fist is needed is when you travel in a bus, you will have to hold the rails on top of your head. That is to balance your body. So how can you make a tight fist? Just put your wrist into slight extension and grip your fingers. You can automatically see what is a tight fist. You can automatically feel how tight it will be. When you do it with flexion, it will be loose, and when you do it with extension, slight extension, it will be much tighter. So this will be a normal day-to-day example that we see. So one more important thing that I want to discuss is the muscle slack that we see during active insufficiency. For this, I would like to take the example of the hamstring muscle. We all know the hamstring is a two-joint muscle. Its action at the hip is to provide extension of the hip, and at the knee joint is to provide flexion of the knee joint. So simultaneously, when we attempt to do both these actions, the extension of hip as well as the knee flexion, the range of knee flexion will be limited. This is because of the active insufficiency. During this process, what happens is the muscle undergoes a slack. Okay, so it will be contracted to the maximum it can do, and then it will go to a state of rest. So what happens is the muscle will remain in a weakened position. So it is subjected to more injuries when compared to passive insufficiency. So this part of injuries is seen more commonly in sports people, the hamstrings injury. Okay. I hope today's session would have been much lively and easy to understand both the active insufficiency and passive insufficiency. I would like to add a question to today's topic. Which muscle of the anterior compartment of thigh undergoes active insufficiency during hip flexion and knee extension? Kindly comment the answers below. Thank you.